Hello all, today we're going to be having a look at one particular character in one particular Shakespeare play. Your title for today is Shakespeare's Characters, Villains or Victims, and we're going to try to understand the motivations behind this particular character's behaviour. So, for your starter then, our next Shakespeare character is nicknamed in another play as the Prince of Cats. What might this suggest about him? So I want you to be thinking about positive and negative ideas you could associate with this nickname. So I'll just give you, if you pause the video, you can have 2 minutes to do this task. So in terms of this starter then, the Prince of Cats, I want to dissect that a little bit. So a prince is someone who is royal, but of course cats can't be royal. So perhaps this particular character is a bit of an upstart, thinks that he's better than he is. Additionally, cats are well known for being lone creatures. They're well known for being loners. They're known for, scratching you when they get angry. But they are also known as being quite beautiful creatures. So I think that a character with the name the Prince of Cats might be an independent kind of man. Someone who is very proud of his appearance, but also someone who is quick to lash out once he's angered. That would be my answer to the starter anyway. So, let's have a look at today's lesson. We are going to be looking at Romeo and Juliet. Now, Romeo and Juliet isn't one of my favourite plays that Shakespeare has ever written, but it is still a really good play. It's an absolute classic. The play focuses on two different characters, Romeo Montague and Juliet Capulet. So they're two teenagers who meet at a party and fall in love. Oh, what on earth's wrong with that, I hear you ask? Well, the Montagues and the Capulets are old rivals. The members of each household hate each other on principle, and they never turn away the opportunity to fight one another. They are sworn enemies, and these families have been feuding for years. So, our character that we're going to be looking at is called Tybalt Capulet. Tybalt is Juliet's cousin. Now, all three of these images that you can see on your screen have been taken from different adaptations of the play. So, for example, the one closest to the middle is from Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet, which is the most recent one, I think, that was done in around early 2000s. But based on these images, what do you think you can predict about this character's personality? So just 2 minutes, write down a sentence. If you want to use the sentence starter, you can. Pause the video whilst you do. Okay, so we first meet Tybalt in Act 1, Scene 1. So a group of Montagues and Capulets start a fight in the street, which is no surprise to anybody who realises that these are two warring families who have a feud. So Benvolio, who is a Montague, is trying to stop the fighting when Tybalt shows up. So Tybalt says, "Turn thee, Benvolio, and look upon thy death." So for question 1, I just want to ask you, what is Tybalt saying here? Benvolio's trying to keep the peace, but what does Tybalt's reaction tell you about his character? So he's saying to Benvolio, "Look upon thy death." So what does that make you think about Tybalt? So couple of minutes, write down an answer. Pause the video whilst you do. Now this second quote here. "What, drawn and talk of peace? I hate the word, as I hate hell, all Montagues, and thee." So what he's saying here is, your sword's drawn, and you're talking about peace, you're talking about not fighting. Well, I hate peace, I hate hell, all Montagues, and you, he says. So what do you learn about Tybalt here, and do you think he's making a pretty good villain at this point? Spend another couple of minutes writing down your answer. Both of these should have taken about 5 minutes altogether for you. So make sure that you pause the video just whilst you answer. Okay, so we also meet Tybalt in Act 1, Scene 5. So, Romeo and a bunch of his laddie mates all crash the Capulet ball, but Tybalt notices him straight away. And he says, "This, by his voice, should be a Montague. Fetch me my rapier, boy." And he says, "Such villain is a guest, I'll not endure him. Now, by the stock and honour of my kin, to strike him dead, I hold it not a sin." So, by his voice should be a Montague. That means it sounds like, his voice sounds like he's a Montague. "Fetch me my rapier, boy." So he asks a serving boy to go and get his sword. "Such a villain is a guest, I'll not endure him." So, you guys all know what a villain here is. And he is calling Romeo a villain. And he says, "I'll not endure him. I'll not put up with him," he says. "Now, by the stock and honour of my kin, to strike him dead, I hold it not a sin." So here he's saying, my family have their own way of thinking about Montagues. So it wouldn't be a sin to kill him. So, 3 minutes, can you please answer these 2 questions? How does Tybalt react, and what does he want to do? So make sure you pause the video whilst you answer it. Okay, finally then, we also meet Tybalt in Act 3, Scene 1. So, he's still angry about Romeo attending the ball. And Tybalt tries to start a fight with Romeo on the street. Romeo refuses to fight, but his mate, Mercutio, takes Tybalt on. And he says, "Romeo, the hate I bear thee can afford no better term than this. Thou art a villain." So here he's saying, the hate that I have for you, I can't even call you anything other than a villain, basically. So, let's answer this question then. What has Tybalt now referred to Romeo as more than once? And what does this tell you about Tybalt's upbringing? So pause the video whilst you answer that. Now Tybalt also says, "Boy, this shall not excuse the injuries thou hast done me. Therefore, turn and draw." So Tybalt says, this fight, this doesn't excuse what you've done to me. So, turn around and draw your sword and fight me. So, is Tybalt justified here? What injuries or wrongs has Romeo actually done to him? So, take a couple of minutes and write your answer down. So, how does the fight turn out then? Well, Tybalt fatally injures Mercutio, and in anger and revenge for his friend, Romeo kills Tybalt. So, based on this overview, how would you describe Tybalt? I want you to really focus on his family and his upbringing in response to these questions. What motivates his hate for other people? Is Tybalt truly an evil character? And how could you consider Tybalt as a victim from the beginning? It's really important to remember what I told you before about the background to the Capulets and the Montagues. Why do you think that's important for Tybalt's character? So spend 5 minutes and try and get an answer down, please. Pause the video whilst you do. And finally, for the rest of the lesson, nice little activity here for you. I would like you to draw me a modern day Tybalt. I want you to put him in clothes that are suitable for us, the sort of things that we'd wear. And also I want you to modernise 2 of the quotes and write them around your image as well. Once you've done that, could you please explain what you think about his character? Do you think that Tybalt is really a villain? So these quotes here, a lot of them are a little difficult to understand, so I'm just going to go through them. He says, "Turn thee, Benvolio, look upon thy death." What, drawn in talk of peace, I hate the word as I hate hell, all Montagues and thee. This by his voice should be a Montague, fetch me my rapier, boy. Now by the stock and honour of my kin, to strike him dead, I hold it not a sin. Romeo, the hate I bear thee can afford no better term than this. Thou art a villain. Boy, this shall not excuse the injuries that thou hast done me. Therefore turn and draw. If you're not sure what any of these mean, do try to go back and have a look to one of the previous slides that the quote is on. And what I would suggest you do is try to put it into your own words. Okay, and once you've done that, just very quickly send me a picture of Tybalt over Satchel 1, please. Your picture of Tybalt, annotated with the quotes and with your paragraph on telling me what you think of him. Okay, thank you.